Those early Muddy Waters recordings, it's just him and a bass player, or sometimes a harmonica too. The way they work the dynamics of a song, like there's this song, She's Alright, no chord changes, it's just dynamics and really making the music support the lyrics. That was a big song for me. I learned a lot from that song. Let me tell you about this song. This is a song, it's called The Cherokee Dance by Bob Froggy Landis, a man who supposedly died of throat cancer only 3 weeks after this song was recorded. And it features somebody named, I don't have the album on here, but something like Bob Willie Davis and his unitar. And that's the solo you hear, is a unitar. And I found out it was I just asked around and somebody told me they thought it was a bass string on a guitar. So this is what started it all off. It doesn't sound at all like Morphine.
Now that's gonna Cherokee dance.
And then, so I just started putting different kinds of bass strings on different guitars and changing the action and pickups, and started jamming with Dana and got a drummer and recorded some things, and just sort of grew like that.
It definitely, to me, sounds between a bass guitar and a regular guitar, and it has much more definition than a standard bass. A lot of times when I go to see a band, I find that I can't pick out the individual notes in the bass, and I listen for it because I've worked with Morphine and it's all bass. And so that's the characteristic of his guitar, is that you can hear the notes. It allows you to hear the notes that he's playing. It makes a big difference. And it's a two-string slide bass guitar, and obviously not a lot of people know what a two-string slide bass guitar is supposed to sound like, so.
Beyond that, it's just like any other electric bass. It's a slab of wood with a skinny piece of wood screwed onto it, a couple of pickups and a volume control. And because I use a slide, I don't have to have any kind of fingering action at all. It can be really even cruder than that. This is the newest instrument here. This is the tritar, one bass string and two guitar strings, and I'm looking for satisfying warmth in the low end, but still a balance for the high notes, because this guitar, I'm asking a lot from this guitar. I'm asking it to be two things, and it's hard to find a balance. Sometimes you'll find a pickup where the bass string will be too quiet compared to the high strings. And there's adjustments you can make within the pickups. There's a surprising amount of adjustments you can make considering how simple it is, but so this, for example, this tailpiece a friend of mine donated. It's from some vintage piece, but it's solid brass, which tends to give it more sustain. A lot of bass players go for a bass that's very thick and heavy wood, because they think that it will give it more sustain, have more like impact somehow. But I personally don't want to carry something so heavy around my neck for 2 hours, and I don't think it really matters that much. A lot of it, the sound is the way Dana plays with the bass and the voice. It's all baritone sounds, my voice, even his voice when he sings, and his sax, and my bass is really baritone range. It's not the lowest strings, you know. And he just has a way of making his saxophone work with my voice, and in that Morphine way, it's just, to me, it's the sound of, the core of the sound. So, are you ready for this? Dana Colley on the double saxophone. Super sex. Absolutely, it's a revolution. It's unbelievable. It's just in the last 3 or 4 years, it's just gotten cheaper and cheaper to buy professional recording equipment, and which is what this is, you know. I mean, we put a lot of these recordings on our albums. There's nothing wrong with them, and we're not the only ones, of course. I just got an album from this band, 4 tracks. Sounds better than most albums I hear. A couple years ago, I had this casual group with a friend of mine, and we had a show where once a week, played for 3 hours, and we played different songs every week, and we would write all the songs while we played, just taking pop song conventions, and before the show we'd have dinner and we'd think of imaginary song titles. And then we'd just get out there and we'd get something, a groove going, and then we'd look at each other and say, you got something, and away we go, and you get to the chorus and we're singing in harmonies. It was an amazing thing, and it just was a really, we did that for about 6 months, and got a lot of good songs out of it. We made tapes of everything, and some of the songs are on the Morphine album. For me, what is the essence of a song? I don't know, it would have to be a personal thing for each listener, right? And for me, songs have different characters. Some songs I associate with old girlfriends, and other songs I associate with certain jobs I had, or songs just are the soundtrack. Everybody plays their own soundtrack, so.